Most people are taught one simple rule about life: be kind to everyone. It sounds beautiful, it sounds noble, and in many ways, it is true. Kindness can change someone's day. Kindness can heal wounds that words alone cannot fix. A kind person can bring light into a dark situation. But there is a truth about kindness that many people discover only after being hurt. Sometimes the more kind you are, the more people try to use you. Sometimes the more you help, the less people respect your time. Sometimes the people you support the most become the same people who quietly take advantage of your heart. This is one of the most confusing moments in life. A moment when a kind person begins to wonder whether kindness is really a strength or simply a weakness. But the real problem is not kindness itself. The real problem is blind kindness. Yet when kindness has no awareness, people can misuse it. When kindness has no boundaries, people can control it. When kindness has no wisdom, people can drain it. And this is why today's lesson is so important. Because life does not ask you to stop being kind. Life asks you to learn something far more powerful: how to be kind without becoming blind. In this video, you will discover several powerful lessons that will help you protect your kindness while also protecting your peace, your energy, and your self-respect. These lessons are simple, but they can completely change the way you see people, relationships, and even yourself. Once you truly understand them, you will never look at kindness the same way again. So let us begin with the first lesson. Lesson 1. Kindness should never cost your self-respect. Many people grow up believing that kindness means always saying yes. If someone asks for help, they immediately agree. If someone needs their time, they give it. If someone places a responsibility on them, they accept it without hesitation. Deep inside, they worry that refusing a request might make them look rude, cold, or selfish. Because of this fear, they choose agreement over honesty. At first, this behavior feels noble. They feel proud of their generosity. They believe they are becoming the kind of person everyone admires. Someone who is always helpful, always supportive, and always available. For a while, it feels good to be needed. It feels good to be seen as the person others can rely on. But slowly, something begins to change. The people around them start becoming used to their constant help. What once felt like a generous favor slowly becomes an expectation. When you help once, people feel grateful. When you help twice, they feel comfortable. But when you help every time, many people stop seeing it as kindness and start seeing it as your responsibility. The words "thank you" become less frequent. Appreciation becomes quiet. Instead of asking politely, people begin assuming you will say yes again. The kind person who once felt proud now begins to feel tired. Their time disappears. Their energy drains. Yet they continue saying yes because they are afraid of disappointing others. Over time, this pattern creates a quiet frustration inside the heart. The person may begin to feel invisible, as if their effort no longer matters. Because they might notice that while they are always there for others, very few people are truly there for them. The kindness that once brought joy now begins to feel like pressure. What was once a free and generous choice slowly turns into an obligation. And this is the moment when kindness crosses an invisible line. It stops being simple generosity and becomes something much heavier: self-sacrifice. When kindness forces you to ignore your own needs, it quietly begins to damage your self-respect. Self-respect is one of the most important forms of inner strength a person can have. It is the quiet understanding that your time, your energy, and your peace also matter. A person who respects themselves understands that helping others is beautiful, but not at the cost of losing their own well-being. True kindness does not demand that you erase yourself. In fact, the healthiest kindness is balanced. It allows you to support people while still protecting your own dignity. It allows you to give without feeling empty afterward. Learning to say no is often the first step toward protecting that balance. For many kind people, this is difficult at first. The word no may feel uncomfortable, almost like a betrayal of their generous nature. But in reality, saying no when something feels unfair or overwhelming is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of honesty. It simply means you recognize your own limits and your own worth. A person who understands their value knows that they cannot be everything for everyone. Interestingly, the moment you begin protecting your boundaries, you learn something important about the people around you. That those who genuinely respect you will understand. They may even admire your honesty and maturity. But the people who become angry, offended, or manipulative when you protect your time reveal something very different. Their reaction shows that they were never respecting your kindness in the first place. They were only benefiting from it. Kindness is one of the most powerful qualities a person can have, but it becomes truly powerful only when it stands beside self-respect. When your kindness is guided by awareness and boundaries, it remains pure, strong, and meaningful. You continue to help others, but you do not lose yourself in the process. And when kindness and self-respect walk together, your generosity becomes something far more valuable, something that uplifts others without ever diminishing your own worth. Lesson 2. Not everyone deserves your full trust. Trust is one of the most powerful gifts you can offer another person. When you trust someone, you open a door to your inner world. You allow them to see your real thoughts, your private struggles, and the dreams that live quietly inside your heart. Trust creates connection. It creates closeness. It allows two people to build a relationship that feels safe and meaningful. For many kind-hearted people, giving trust feels natural and easy. They believe that if they treat others with honesty and sincerity, others will respond with the same kindness. They believe that the goodness they show to the world will naturally return to them. This belief is beautiful, but it can also be dangerous when it is not guided by wisdom. The truth is that the world contains many different types of people. Some individuals recognize kindness and respond with loyalty, respect, and gratitude. When you trust them, they value that trust and protect it carefully. They listen to your problems with genuine concern. They support you when life becomes difficult. These people strengthen your life and make your journey easier. But not everyone behaves this way. Some people see kindness in a very different way. Instead of respecting it, they see it as an opportunity. They recognize that a kind person is often open, generous, and emotionally honest. Rather than appreciating these qualities, they quietly use them for their own benefit. They may listen carefully when you speak about your struggles, not because they truly care, but because they want to understand your weaknesses. They may accept your help again and again, but when the moment it comes for them to help you, they suddenly disappear. Their words may sound supportive, but their actions reveal something very different. Over time, these relationships begin to drain your emotional energy. You may find yourself always giving support, always offering time, and always listening to their problems. Yet when you need encouragement, understanding, or loyalty, the same energy does not return to you. The relationship becomes one-sided, like a well that constantly gives water but is never refilled. At first, you may not notice this imbalance. Your generous heart keeps hoping that things will improve. But slowly, you begin to feel exhausted and disappointed. This is why wisdom must guide kindness. Trust should never be given blindly or immediately. Real trust is something that grows slowly, like a tree that develops strong roots over time. It should be built through consistent actions, not only through friendly words or charming promises. Anyone can speak kindly for a short time, but only a sincere person can show respect and reliability again and again. Words may create a good impression, but actions reveal a person's true character. When you meet new people, give them kindness, but also give yourself time to observe. Notice how they behave when you are not able to help them. Pay attention to how they treat other people, especially those who cannot offer them anything in return. Watch how they respond when life becomes difficult. Do they stay loyal, or do they disappear when problems appear? Consistency is one of the clearest signs of genuine character. And you will discover that trustworthy people behave with integrity even when there is no advantage for them. They keep their promises. They respect your boundaries. They show support not only when life is easy, but also when you truly need them. Their kindness is not temporary. It is part of who they are. Kindness does not mean trusting everyone immediately. It means giving people the opportunity to show who they really are. When someone proves their honesty through their behavior, your trust becomes stronger and more meaningful. In this way, kindness and wisdom work together. You remain open-hearted and compassionate, but you also protect your emotional world from those who might misuse it. And when trust is built slowly and carefully, the relationships you create become far more genuine, stable, and fulfilling. Lesson 3. Protect your energy. Every morning when you wake up, you start the day with a certain amount of emotional energy. This energy is like a hidden currency that fuels your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. It allows you to focus on your work, solve problems, think clearly, and even support the people you care about. But unlike money, emotional energy is limited. Once it is spent, it cannot be instantly replenished. If it is constantly given away to people who are negative, demanding, or careless, it slowly diminishes until you feel drained, overwhelmed, and unable to function at your best. Many kind-hearted people struggle with this reality. Their generous nature pushes them to help anyone in need. They feel responsible for solving every problem, easing every burden, and offering comfort whenever someone asks. Whereas when a friend is upset, they listen patiently for hours. When a colleague complains about life, they provide endless advice and support. When someone fails, they rush to fix the situation again and again, thinking that their intervention will make life easier for the other person. At first, this feels rewarding. Helping others gives a sense of purpose and fulfillment. It makes you feel needed. It makes you feel valuable. But there is a danger in giving too much. Over time, constantly carrying the burdens of others can exhaust even the strongest heart. Emotional energy is not infinite, and if you give it away without limits, you will eventually find yourself empty, frustrated, or even resentful. Your focus, motivation, and clarity can begin to weaken. Plus, the very kindness that once uplifted your life can start to feel like a heavy chain that weighs you down. It is important to understand that not everyone is capable of growth at the same pace. Some people genuinely want to improve their lives, face their challenges, and learn from their mistakes. They use the support you give them as a stepping stone toward becoming stronger and wiser. But others may not have this intention. They may rely on you to carry their struggles, to rescue them from discomfort, or to solve problems that they should be facing themselves. These individuals do not aim to grow. They aim to depend. And when you constantly give your energy to those who only take, you sacrifice your own progress and well-being. This is why learning to protect your energy is essential. But your energy should be used to support growth, for yourself and for others who are willing to grow. It should not be spent trying to fix people who are not ready to change or take responsibility for their own lives. Sometimes, the kindest act you can perform is not to intervene or rescue, but to step back and allow people to face the consequences of their choices. Allowing them to carry their own burdens is not cruelty. It is an act of respect for their growth and for your energy. When you set boundaries around your energy, you begin to notice a shift. You still help others, but you do so wisely. You no longer allow yourself to be drained by endless complaints or by people who refuse to take responsibility. You learn to give without sacrificing your own peace and focus. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is essential. Yet it allows your kindness to remain powerful, sustainable, and genuinely effective. When your energy is respected, both by yourself and by others, your generosity can truly make a difference without costing your own well-being. Lesson 4. Observe actions, not just words. Words are powerful, and they can sound beautiful. A person can say anything with ease. They can promise loyalty, express gratitude, or declare friendship. They can tell you how much they appreciate your help, how important your kindness is, or how much they care about you. At first, these words feel meaningful. They can touch your heart, bring comfort, and create a sense of connection. For kind-hearted people, words are often taken at face value. They want to believe the best in others, and they hope that the promises people make are genuine and that the compliments they hear reflect true intentions. But the truth is, words alone cannot reveal a person's character. Anyone can say the right thing at the right moment, especially if it serves their purpose. Words are easy. Actions, however, are harder to fake. Actions require effort, consistency, and integrity. They reveal how a person truly behaves when circumstances are challenging or when there is no immediate benefit to them. Actions show whether someone values your kindness or simply uses it for their own advantage. This is why observing behavior is far more important than listening to promises. A person who respects your kindness will show it through consistent and genuine behavior. They will be there when you need support, not just when it is convenient. They will speak honestly, even when the truth is uncomfortable or may cause disagreement. They will protect your trust, respect your boundaries, and acknowledge the effort you give without expecting it to be endless. Their actions will match their words, and over time, this consistency builds a relationship based on mutual respect and genuine care. Such people value your kindness and honor it in ways that words alone cannot express. On the other hand, someone who only values your kindness for personal gain behaves very differently. Their actions reveal their true intentions more clearly than their words ever could. They may appear only when they need something from you, disappearing entirely when you seek support or help. They may praise you when you are useful to them, but ignore or criticize you when you assert your boundaries. They may speak beautifully about loyalty and friendship, yet their behavior shows that these words are hollow. Over time, patterns emerge, and the gap between what they say and what they do becomes impossible to ignore. Learning to observe actions carefully allows you to see people more clearly. It trains you to recognize authenticity and to identify those who truly deserve your time, care, and kindness. This awareness is not about becoming cynical or cold. It is not about doubting everyone or assuming the worst. Instead, it is about cultivating wisdom. It is about understanding that kindness without awareness can be taken advantage of, and that protecting yourself does not mean turning away from goodness. When your kindness is guided by careful observation, it becomes far more powerful. You can invest your energy, time, and care in people who genuinely deserve it, while avoiding those who drain you emotionally or manipulate your generosity. By focusing on actions rather than empty words, you ensure that your heart is given to those who will honor it. In this way, awareness and kindness work together, allowing you to remain compassionate, wise, and resilient in a world where not everyone speaks or behaves with honesty. Lesson 5. Kindness without boundaries. Invites manipulation. Boundaries are one of the most misunderstood concepts when it comes to kindness. Many people believe that having boundaries means being distant, selfish, or unkind. They worry that saying no, setting limits, or prioritizing their own needs might make them appear cold or uncaring. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Boundaries are not a sign of weakness or distance. They are a sign of self-respect. They are a way of showing both yourself and others that your feelings, time, and energy matter. Boundaries define the way people are allowed to treat you and set the standard for how your kindness should be honored. Without them, even the most generous heart can be taken advantage of. Think of your life as a house. A house without doors or walls would never feel safe. Anyone could enter freely, take what they want, and leave without any consideration for the home or the people living inside. There would be no protection, no privacy, and no sense of security. The same principle applies to your emotional life. If your heart has no boundaries, If your time and energy are always open for anyone to take, your kindness becomes vulnerable. People may begin to demand your time whenever they choose, criticize you without consequence, or ignore your feelings while expecting endless support. Over time, this pattern slowly erodes your peace, your energy, and even your sense of self-worth. Many kind individuals make the mistake of believing that refusing a request or setting limits is unkind. They fear that boundaries will push people away or create conflict. But in reality, boundaries are a tool that allows you to care wisely. They help you give your kindness in ways that are sustainable and respectful, for both yourself and others. Saying no or limiting your availability does not mean you stop caring. On the contrary, it ensures that your care remains genuine rather than forced or resentful. Boundaries protect your energy so that you can continue to help others without being drained or taken for granted. When boundaries are clearly established, something remarkable often happens. People begin to take your kindness more seriously. When someone sees that you respect yourself enough to protect your time and emotions, they often begin to respect you more. They realize that your generosity is not infinite for anyone willing to take it lightly. Your boundaries communicate strength, clarity, and dignity. They show that your heart is not an open field for anyone to trample on, but a space where kindness and respect coexist. Kindness without boundaries, however, invites manipulation. Without clear limits, some people may push, exploit, or guilt you into giving more than you can safely provide. And they may assume your patience and compassion are unlimited. They may attempt to control you emotionally or make you feel obligated to meet every demand. Over time, this not only drains your energy, but also diminishes the joy of being kind. True kindness should uplift both the giver and the receiver. Boundaries ensure that this balance is maintained. Ultimately, the strongest, most impactful kindness is always guided by awareness and boundaries. By setting limits, you are not being unkind. You are being wise. You are showing the world that your peace, your energy, and your dignity matter. And when others witness this self-respect, they often rise to match it, creating relationships built on mutual care, honesty, and true appreciation. Kindness with boundaries is kindness that lasts. It is generosity that never leaves you empty. Lesson 6. Real kindness comes from strength. Many people carry a misunderstanding about kindness. They believe that being kind is a form of weakness. They assume that kind individuals are soft, easy to control, or prone to being manipulated. This misconception is widespread because the world often rewards aggression, dominance, and self-interest. In contrast, kindness can be quiet and subtle, which sometimes makes it appear vulnerable. But the reality is very different. True kindness is not a sign of weakness. It is a mark of strength. Real kindness requires a remarkable combination of emotional intelligence, patience, and courage. It requires the ability to understand the emotions of others without losing control of your own. It demands patience to listen, to empathize, and to support others, even when they behave unreasonably or do not immediately reciprocate. And above all, it takes courage to act with compassion in a world that often rewards selfishness. Choosing kindness is not always easy. It can be challenging, uncomfortable, and even risky. Yet those who practice it with awareness and strength find that it creates far more respect and influence than harshness ever could. A strong person does not choose kindness because they feel obligated or because they are afraid of conflict. They choose it because they understand its power. They recognize that kindness has the ability to heal, to inspire, and to transform not only the lives of others, but also their own life. They approach relationships and interactions with awareness. They offer their help and support to people who genuinely appreciate it, while calmly stepping away from those who seek to exploit or abuse it. They know that protecting their own energy and boundaries does not diminish their compassion. It strengthens it. This balance between generosity and self-protection creates a unique kind of presence, one that people cannot ignore. When others encounter a person who is kind but not naive, generous but not weak, they instinctively recognize the authenticity of that kindness. They understand that this kindness is not something to be taken lightly. It is rooted in awareness, strength, and a deep understanding of human nature. People begin to respect the kind person, not only for their generosity, but also for the quiet authority and integrity that their kindness demonstrates. Moreover, real kindness is transformative because it does not rely on external validation. A kind person with strength does not expect gratitude, praise, or recognition. Their actions are guided by principles, not by the desire for approval. They help because it is the right choice, not because it will earn them favor. This kind of kindness is resilient. It does not crumble in the face of criticism or selfishness. It is steady, unwavering, and quietly powerful. Ultimately, the kindest people are often the strongest people. They combine empathy with awareness, generosity with self-respect, and compassion with courage. Their kindness is not exploitable because it is grounded in strength, not fear or weakness. When you cultivate this kind of kindness, you create relationships and environments where respect, trust, and authenticity flourish. Real kindness is a force that uplifts, protects, and transforms. It is the strongest gift a person can offer to the world. Lesson 7. Learn from experience, not from bitterness. Almost everyone, no matter how kind or careful, experiences moments when their kindness is misused. Perhaps you trusted someone deeply, only to be betrayed when you needed them the most. Perhaps you helped someone repeatedly, offering your time, care, and energy, only to find that gratitude was never returned. Perhaps you invested yourself fully into a relationship, pouring your heart into someone else's life, only to have that connection fade, disappear, or leave you feeling empty. These experiences are painful. They can shake your faith in people and make you question whether kindness is truly worthwhile. It is natural to feel hurt, disappointed, or even angry in these situations. But the way you respond to these experiences determines how your kindness will grow. Often, there are two very different paths a person can take after being hurt. One path leads to bitterness. People who choose this path decide that kindness is dangerous or useless. They begin to build walls around their hearts. They stop trusting others, fearing that every gesture of care will be exploited. Over time, these walls grow thicker and their world becomes smaller. Relationships feel transactional or shallow because they assume that anyone who approaches them has an ulterior motive. Kindness, in this scenario, seems like a weakness, and the person slowly loses the ability to connect deeply with others. The other path, however, leads to growth and wisdom. Instead of allowing hurtful experiences to destroy your ability to be kind, yet you can allow them to teach you. Each painful experience contains a lesson. When someone betrays your trust, you learn to notice early warning signs. When someone fails to appreciate your help, you learn to distinguish between those who genuinely value you and those who take advantage of your generosity. When a relationship fades despite your best efforts, you learn that giving without reciprocity is not always wrong. It simply indicates that some people are not ready to match your level of care. In every difficult encounter, there is an opportunity to strengthen your awareness and refine your understanding of human behavior. This approach does not mean that you stop caring or become indifferent. On the contrary, your kindness evolves. It becomes stronger because it is now informed by experience. As it becomes clearer because you are no longer blind to the realities of human nature. It becomes more intentional because you choose carefully where and how to invest your time, energy, and compassion. You remain kind, but your kindness is no longer naive. It is guided by wisdom, discernment, and self-respect. Learning from experience also allows you to maintain peace while protecting yourself. You no longer feel compelled to give endlessly to those who do not deserve it, yet you can still offer genuine help to those who do. You learn that kindness is not about pleasing everyone or avoiding pain. It is about being generous, compassionate, and supportive while also honoring your own boundaries. In this way, your past hurts are transformed into tools for growth rather than sources of bitterness. The most remarkable aspect of this evolution is that your kindness becomes a source of power rather than vulnerability. You can continue to uplift others without being taken advantage of. You can form connections built on respect, trust, and mutual care. Each lesson you learn strengthens your ability to navigate relationships with clarity and courage. Over time, your kindness is no longer blind, reactive, or fragile. It becomes intentional, resilient, and wise. Ultimately, the greatest gift you can give yourself after being hurt is not to wall yourself off from the world, but to learn from experience, not from bitterness. By doing so, your kindness survives, grows, and becomes a force that protects your peace, honors your boundaries, and continues to create positive impact in the lives of those who truly deserve it. And it is a kindness that is strong, aware, and enduring. A kindness that can withstand the trials of life and emerge more powerful than ever. Lesson 8. The right people will value your kindness. One of the most encouraging truths in life is that the right people do exist. Even though life can sometimes feel overwhelming with disappointment, betrayal, or misuse of trust, there are always individuals who genuinely understand the value of kindness. These are the people who recognize honesty, loyalty, and genuine care, not just as words, but as principles to live by. They appreciate the effort you put into your relationships. They respect your time, your energy, and your boundaries. They do not take advantage of your generosity, and they never make your kindness feel like an obligation. Finding these people is not always easy, but they are out there, and they are worth every effort you make to connect with them. When you begin to stop giving unlimited access to everyone, something remarkable happens. Your focus shifts from people who drain you to people who uplift you. You become more selective about who receives your time, attention, and care. Rather than stretching yourself thin trying to meet the demands of those who do not appreciate you, you start investing in relationships that have meaning, balance, and mutual respect. This change may feel uncomfortable at first because it challenges the habit of constantly giving. But as you continue, you notice a difference in the energy around you. People who genuinely value your kindness naturally gravitate toward you, and the connections you form feel more rewarding, deeper, and more stable. Yes, these relationships feel fundamentally different from the ones you may have experienced before. Support flows in both directions. When you are in need, these people show up without hesitation. When they are in need, you are able to help without feeling drained or exploited. Gratitude becomes genuine rather than forced. Appreciation is expressed naturally rather than expected. Conversations feel meaningful, not exhausting. There is a sense of balance and reciprocity that creates trust, safety, and comfort. These relationships do not demand that you give endlessly. They inspire your generosity, allowing your kindness to flourish in a healthy, sustainable way. The presence of the right people also teaches an important lesson. Kindness is most powerful when it is shared with those who deserve it. Generosity and compassion are never wasted when offered to people who recognize and honor them. The energy you put into these relationships multiplies because it is met with respect and care. Your acts of kindness are met with gratitude, support, and loyalty, creating a positive cycle that strengthens your bonds and enriches your life. In contrast, when kindness is given to people who take advantage or manipulate, it can feel draining, unappreciated, or even wasted. By focusing on the right people, your kindness becomes intentional, valuable, and deeply fulfilling. This realization also helps you maintain clarity in your interactions with others. You begin to notice patterns more quickly, recognizing who genuinely values your presence and who does not. You understand that not everyone will meet your standards, and that is okay. It is better to have fewer, stronger connections than many superficial ones. Your energy becomes protected, your boundaries respected, and your generosity appreciated. Ultimately, when you connect with the right people, kindness is no longer a risk. It is a gift that brings joy to both the giver and the receiver. These relationships create an environment where kindness can truly flourish. Your compassion is no longer taken for granted, and your heart remains open and strong. The right people will always notice, value, and honor your kindness, making your efforts meaningful, sustainable, and deeply rewarding. It is among these relationships that your generosity shines brightest, creating connection, trust, and a life filled with mutual respect and support. Lesson 9. Choose awareness over blindness. Life becomes far easier and more fulfilling when kindness is guided by awareness. Many people give their hearts freely without noticing patterns in behavior or hidden intentions. They assume that everyone who asks for help or expresses need will respond with gratitude or respect. At first, this approach feels natural. Compassion flows effortlessly, and helping others becomes a source of joy. But without awareness, even the kindest hearts can be exploited. Blind kindness, kindness without observation or discernment, often leads to frustration, exhaustion, and disappointment. The solution is not to stop being kind, but to combine your generosity with awareness, creating a balance that protects both your heart and your energy. Awareness begins with observation. It means paying attention to the actions of those around you, not just their words. Words can be empty promises or fleeting expressions of gratitude, but actions reveal true character. When you practice awareness, you notice who consistently respects your boundaries, who genuinely appreciates your efforts, and who attempts to manipulate or take advantage of your kindness. You start recognizing subtle patterns, who only appears when they need something, who disappears when you need support, and who consistently reciprocates care. This understanding allows you to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. Awareness also helps you maintain emotional stability. When you are kind without thinking, every slight, misuse, or betrayal can feel overwhelming. Emotions take control, and frustration or anger can grow silently, thus affecting your energy and peace of mind. But with awareness, you respond thoughtfully rather than emotionally. You can see situations clearly, understand motives, and make deliberate decisions about how much time, attention, or energy to invest. Awareness transforms your kindness from something reactive into something intentional. It allows you to give generously while staying protected, confident, and grounded. One of the most important benefits of awareness is that it helps you identify manipulation early. People who seek to exploit your kindness often begin subtly. They may test your patience, push boundaries, or demand favors without concern for your well-being. Without awareness, you may continue giving until your energy is depleted. With awareness, however, you notice these signs early and adjust your behavior accordingly. You set limits, maintain your boundaries, and continue to act with kindness, but only where it is truly respected. This skill ensures that your generosity does not become a tool for others to control or drain you. Awareness does not make you cynical or distant. On the contrary, it allows you to remain open-hearted, compassionate, and engaged with life. It strengthens your confidence because you understand both yourself and the people around you better. You can give freely to those who deserve it while protecting yourself from those who do not. This balance creates a sense of calm, clarity, and emotional resilience. You learn to navigate relationships with wisdom, making your interactions more meaningful, rewarding, and safe. Ultimately, choosing awareness over blindness is one of the most powerful skills a person can develop, as it allows you to move through life with an open heart and a clear mind, offering kindness without losing yourself in the process. It transforms generosity from a potential vulnerability into a sustainable strength. By being attentive, discerning, and mindful, you create a life where your compassion is respected, your energy is preserved, and your kindness has the maximum positive impact on the world. Awareness is not the opposite of kindness. It is kindness perfected, strong, and enduring. Conclusion: the balance that protects your life. Kindness is one of the most beautiful qualities a human being can possess. It has the power to bring warmth into cold situations, to offer hope in moments of despair, and to create connections that uplift both the giver and the receiver. A kind heart can heal wounds that words alone cannot reach, and a compassionate gesture can change someone's day, or even their life. However, the true beauty of kindness is revealed only when it is paired with awareness, boundaries, and self-respect. Kindness should never mean ignoring reality or allowing yourself to be drained, exploited, or taken for granted. The most powerful form of kindness is balanced kindness. This is a kindness guided by wisdom, informed by experience, and strengthened by self-awareness. It is kindness that understands the difference between helping and enabling, between giving and losing oneself. Balanced kindness is supported by self-respect. It allows you to say no when necessary, to protect your time and energy, and to maintain your dignity while still offering care. It is kindness protected by clear boundaries, as boundaries that define how others may treat you and ensure that your generosity is never misused. When you combine these elements, kindness ceases to be a vulnerability and instead becomes a source of strength. When you learn this balance, you experience a profound shift in your relationships and in your life. You no longer feel drained by people who take without giving, nor do you question whether your generosity is appreciated. You are able to give freely and openly, but with clarity and intention. Your energy remains protected, your self-respect intact, and your heart continues to shine without fear of exploitation. Kindness becomes a powerful force that uplifts both you and those around you. It creates connections built on respect, trust, and mutual care. As you move forward in life, carry this lesson with you. Continue being kind. Continue helping people when you can, and continue spreading respect, compassion, and understanding wherever you go. But do so with your eyes open. Observe actions, set boundaries, and protect your energy. The world needs more kind hearts, but the world also needs kind hearts that are aware, strong, and resilient. When kindness is balanced with wisdom, it is unstoppable. It brings light without sacrificing the giver, creating a life where generosity is meaningful, relationships are genuine, and your heart remains both open and protected. Kindness is a gift. Guard it wisely, nurture it thoughtfully, and let it shine with the power of balance.